This week on SpokeTV, we take a look into how people are feeling about Target closing in Canada. And Uber ride-sharing might be coming to Kitchener. What do regional councillors have to say about that?
People are looking for more flexibility. People are looking for more transportation options. And I think that we need to take a good close look at Uber as an option for Waterloo region.
Plus, Sarah George finds out if Kitchener is considering banning tobogganing.
I'm Joe Dyke.
And I'm Chris Alexander, and this is SpokeTV, your source for news and entertainment produced by second-year journalism students at Conestoga College.
There's a new app in town that's uber cool, and it'll help you get a ride in a pinch. But what could this mean for the taxi industry? Here's Leah Johansson with the answers.
Looking for a quick ride? There's an app for that. Uber, an app-based driving service which is already operating in more than 200 cities worldwide, recently held sessions in Kitchener to gauge the interest of potential drivers. The company offers several different services, including taxi, black car, and limousine service. Unlike traditional taxi services, UberX allows anyone to pick up passengers without a required taxi driving license. Some government officials, the taxi industry, and others are worried, though, that this could endanger some passengers. Regional Councillor Tom Galloway explains many cab drivers use their taxi license as a retirement plan.
We don't charge for the taxi license other than an annual fee, but the taxi licenses take on a monetary value. Some say that a local taxi license may be worth as much as $300,000.
The region of Waterloo is responsible for regulating the local taxi industry, which has a fixed number of licenses to sell. All 332 are already spoken for. Regional Councillor Sean Strickland says whether the app is regulated by these licenses or not, they will still one day be doing business in the region.
People are looking for more flexibility. People are looking for more transportation options. And I think that we need to take a good close look at Uber as an option for Waterloo region.
For SpokeTV, I'm Leah Johansson.
Thanks, Leah. Tobogganing is a Canadian tradition, but while kids look forward to the first snowfall of the year so they can hit the hills with their new sled, some parents dread the potential risks that come with the pastime. SpokeTV's own Sarah George gives us a look at some of the new bylaws that surround tobogganing.
A snowy winter usually means two things. Get your shovel ready, and it's time to hit the tobogganing slopes. But in what some are calling a controversial move, a few cities in Canada and the United States are putting bylaws in place that make going down their residents' favorite hills illegal. Officials are saying it's just too dangerous and too much of a liability for the city, and injuries could result in them being sued. Here in Ontario, Orangeville recently saw a protest after they put bylaws in place prohibiting the activity, and Hamilton has had an outright ban for several years. It has residents of the region wondering if they could be next, and not everyone is on board with the idea. Eric Jones of Kitchener is worried about the effect it will have on children.
Children wouldn't have as many opportunities to come into contact with such a cost-effective way to do risk assessment.
People can put their concerns to rest for the time being. The Tri-Cities aren't planning on putting a ban out. Guess that means they need something a little more sturdy than a crazy carpet.
Shane Turner, the head of bylaw in Kitchener, says council hasn't brought it forward, and there would be challenges to making a bylaw that can't properly be enforced.
We haven't identified it as a direction we want to go. Banning tobogganing really is a risk mitigation strategy. It's not something that council has asked us to look at.
If you are going to hit the hills, make sure it's one with a gentle slope and free of obstacles. Avoid sleds that can't be steered like crazy carpets, and make sure to go in the day for better visibility. For SpokeTV, I'm Sarah George.
Certain Canadian malls have recently become a target for discontinuation. Danielle Larocque brings us more on how the closure of 133 stores is affecting Target employees and shoppers.
After almost 2 years in Canada, Target will be closing its stores and returning to their roots in the U.S.
This store here behind me in Cambridge will join 132 other stores closing their doors throughout Canada.
This will also mean that almost 18,000 people will need to look for new work, including Target employee James Davis.
It's a shame that Target has shut down, and I'm going to miss everyone that I was working with.
According to a statement released by Cambridge Centre General Manager Monique Marceau, many questions remain, and we'll be working with our retailers and Target to plan and manage a smooth transition for our centre. As we learn more, we will be able to plot the future of the highly desirable space that Target currently occupies. Sears Canada has offered discounts and employment opportunities to those affected by the sudden layoffs. Empty shelves, lack of promotion, and no website content for shopping could all be reasons for the sudden close. Shoppers are feeling indifferent about the closure.
We lived here without it, so we can still live without it if they close it down or not.
I'm actually really surprised. I heard about it last week and I was like I thought they were doing really well, but then as soon as I heard, I'm like, really? Like they just opened one in Square One, but now they're closing already?
And it's a shame that they're leaving already. It hasn't even been like 2 years, I think, so.
Although Target isn't the only company to pull out of the Canadian market, Sony, Max, SmartSet, and Jacob are all closing their stores. For SpokeTV, I'm Daniela LaRock.
For many people, having access to indoor and outdoor recreation facilities is just an afterthought. You either use them or you don't. But just how much goes into maintaining them?
The city of Waterloo has announced that it will lose roughly $1 million this year operating Rim Park. According to the city budget, the park is expected to cost $6.5 million to run, with the city only getting back $5.6 million of that in user fees and other revenues. Rim Park is made up of many indoor and outdoor sports facilities, arenas, trails, and other amenities. Officials say they aren't worried about the loss, though, as they view the park and its facilities as a community service.
Even in 2015, women's equality in leadership is still being questioned. Do we have enough women in positions of power? Why or why not? SpokeTV's Laura Moncada finds out where we stand on the issue.
Even though men and women are thought to have the same key business and political qualities, female leaders are still in short supply. According to a survey done by Pew Research Center, it is because the public is not ready to elect women in top leadership positions. Diana Perry, expert of women and gender issues at the University of Waterloo, explains that there are still beliefs that women can perform in leadership roles.
There remains some social, ideological understandings of women's roles in society, and some people hold the value that women can't run a corporate company or can't take a high political position and still do well. And yet we have a number of role models that demonstrate women are very capable in these positions. We have Kathleen Wynne, we have Rona Ambrose, we have a whole number of women who are taking on these positions and doing them well.
Some residents of Kitchener-Waterloo explain why they would elect a female prime minister.
Yeah, I mean, if she's a viable candidate, I mean, it's all about that sort of equality thing. If they have the skills to match up with a partner who happens to be of the opposite gender, then why not vote for her?
If it was if she was bad and didn't have a good platform and, didn't have ideas and values that I agreed with, then no. But if it was something that I was cool with, yeah.
The survey also revealed that more than half of the people believe that men will continue to hold most of the executive positions in the future. For SpokeTV, I am Laura Moncada.
Thanks, Laura. SpokeTV panels are a new addition to our show where reporters discuss different topics. Now we'll go to Chris Alexander with a SpokeTV panel on ethical journalism. Chris?
Thanks, Joe. Now we turn to a new section of SpokeTV. We're doing a panel discussion. There's been a lot in the news about Leslie Roberts and journalistic ethics. Leslie Roberts was involved with a PR firm, and he had a lot of clients from the firm come on to the show. Now, he says he was never paid for it, but this is still a question in journalistic integrity. So we have a panel of Devin Flynn, Nora Mazzaros, and Long Nguyen, and we're going to be discussing ethics in journalism. We'll kick it off with asking, where does the line of conflict of interest end? How far can you go with your interests outside of journalism?
I think that's an excellent question, Chris. Obviously, there are ethical guidelines set out for us, but for starters, it's all about your own personal integrity, which matters. You have to be honest with your employer, not so much personally, but on a professional matter. You have to consider your balances and your priorities. Are there boundaries you're going to be violating from moving into a field when you're already involved with another field? Those are the types of things that need to be asked. There needs to be a close evaluation of the smartest decision you can make before creating conflict for your employer or anybody around you that you're working with.
Devin, do you have anything to?
Yeah, I think that he ultimately and blatantly went against the Canadian Association of Journalists' ethical guidelines. It says inside it that we have to carefully consider all political activities and community involvements, including those online, and refrain from taking part in demonstrations, signing petitions, and it says right here, doing public relation work. So it shows there that he crossed the line.
Right. Along all that, sorry, go ahead.
And the bigger issue is, like, he brought the guests onto his show, and without his employer knowing that, what would they know about him bringing on his clients as well? It's like, dude, if the bosses don't know if he's in this, who in the public would know that he's part of a firm as well?
Now, would you say, as a journalist, you can be part of a PR firm as long as you don't actually involve yourself journalistically with the PR firm? Like, you don't bring on any clients to your show or whatever?
No, because it's like, as Devin mentioned, the code of ethics, you can't get involved in anything relating to public relations. The problem with relating with public relations, it's like doing two fields of the journalists and public relations. They both need each other to work on the common goal. That's a big issue as well.
But at the same time, staying separate.
Yeah.
And it's not just about public relations. I mean, it's about politics too. None of us are going to be able to go and politically represent anything or go to a demonstration unless we're going in as unbiased as we possibly can.
Right. Devin, do you think there's a problem of journalistic integrity in Canada right now?
I don't think it's that present. It has its cases, but it's not a huge problem. So much to say that we'd have to be starting to crack down. Like the Public Relations Society has stopped banning people and barring people from their society if they do it, and it leaves it up to yourself. And so with the journalism, the Canadian Association of Journalists doesn't necessarily bar someone for doing it, but it leaves you up to yourself to ask yourself that question: will this be a conflict of interest? And if it is, should I really be doing it? And the answer is most likely no.
Right. Do you guys think there's a problem with journalistic integrity right now?
I think there is a bit of a problem, mainly with the people involved. Part of the issue is like Amanda Lang sleeping with the RBC chairman, and not only that, pitching for him as well. Also, the Gianca Meshi thing, his issues with sexual issues and consent as well. And part of the issue is like the people involved and not admitting to this stuff as well.
I think the other thing to look at is, in the real world, you're only as good as your word, but in the journalism industry, you're only as good as the word of the person that came before you, whether that's a reporter that you've worked with or the company you're representing, and protecting that reputation is integral to journalism in Canada.
So how do we go about protecting that reputation and repairing maybe what has been tarnished from the likes of Amanda and Leslie and so on?
I think the main step is like just being honest, quite frankly. Like, if you're being honest to the public and honest to your workers of what you're doing, of what projects or who you're in a relationship with, it's going to really help regain the trust in the public as well. With the age of social media and these investigative reports on all these net channels, news stations like that, everyone's going to try to dig dirt on you. If you're like being honest about it, it's going to work.
Yeah, you want to have that dirt. It ultimately comes down to assessing each decision that you make, and if there's going to be a positive and a negative outcome. If the negative outcome outweighs your positive and it actually can interfere with your career, then make the wise choice. Don't do that.
Absolutely, it's about those boundaries.
Right. There's obviously a lot going on in Canadian journalism, and it's up to each individual journalist, I suppose, to just folks do their part to keep integrity alive in the field. So clearly there's a lot going on in Canada with journalistic integrity, but that wraps up our panel for today. Keep watching SpokeTV for more panels, and Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. It seems the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Company is going viral. No longer willing to be confined within the walls of a casino, the OLG has opened its doors to a world of more possibility.
The Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation has finally become digitalized. Not everyone has a casino nearby, and if you do, it's probably already packed full of paying customers. Now OLG has taken its gaming to the next level, the internet. If you go to playolg.ca, you can find casino-type games like slots, blackjack, single-player poker, and roulette. You can even get lottery tickets. With this new step, the OLG hopes to tap into the estimated $400 to $500 million that some 500,000 Ontario gamblers are spending annually on sites elsewhere.
It looks like Waterloo's got the winter blues. The region this winter has seen record low temperatures with more strong winter patterns to come. Here's Aaron Anderson with the details.
Canada may be known for its harsh winters, but a mild start to the season has led to some other bizarre weather patterns. The Waterloo region has been breaking weather records on both ends of the spectrum since last month. Environment Canada stated that December saw a record low amount of snowfall and saw temperatures well above last year's numbers. Flash forward to this month, where the region broke the all-time wind chill record at a bone-chilling -41, before turning back to mild conditions. CTV meteorologist Lindsay Morrison explains the shift in the weather pattern.
Waterloo. So we didn't have nearly as much snow as we usually do. We picked up about 7 centimeters, whereas normally we'd see closer to 30. In January, we've had more snow, so that's been a little bit more normal. But overall, through both December and January, temperatures have been on average about 2 degrees warmer than normal. The recent sporadic weather can cause a change in mood that many Canadians refer to as the winter blues.
A study commissioned by the Weather Network states that 43% of Canadians experience a mood swing due to the season. Cambridge resident Crystal Wissick explains her struggle with the seasonal change.
I don't feel as energetic and I'm really tired and don't want to go anywhere. Makes me a bit of a homebody. And just in general, a little bit depressed perhaps, lack of sunlight.
Although some may enjoy the so far mild winter, it's important to remember that the February freeze is just around the corner. For SpokeTV, I'm Aaron Anderson.
That's it for the news. To catch you up on sports and entertainment, here's Long Nguyen.
Thanks, Chris. If you're a skiing and snowboarding enthusiast or someone who's hitting the slopes for the first time, Danielle St. Cyr has some valuable information on safety tips that can help you stay safe on the hills this season.
For some, snowboarding and skiing is a fun hobby. For others, it's a career. But whether winter sports is something you want to do for a couple hours or for the rest of your life, the same safety regulations apply to everyone. Kim Baker, owner of Ski and Cycle Hut on King Street East in Kitchener, explains the importance of proper attire while riding the slopes.
Proper fitting helmet is really important. You don't want it to slide forward or backwards on your head. You want it to fit exactly the way your brain is encased inside your skull. You want one finger between the top of your helmet and your eyebrow.
Risk manager from Chicopee Ski Club on Morrison Road in Kitchener explains the precautions that they take to ensure that all of their visitors are safe.
Number one is always stay in control. That's pretty common sense. You must be able to stop or avoid other objects. So as you're skiing around the hill or boarding, you should be able to be aware of what's around you and to be able to react if something comes up or in your way. People ahead of you have the right of way. That's one thing a lot of people don't know. People below me, as I'm riding, have the right of way. So I can't go charging through a crowd of people and yell at them saying, "Get out of the way, I'm coming through."
Even though having your helmet properly fitted and your ski bindings regularly checked may seem like an unnecessary task, it could be the difference between life or death. Not only do experts encourage skiers to follow these regulations, but also manufacturers, as safety comes before fun. For SpokeTV, I'm Danielle St. Cyr.
A new 40-foot screen, new furnishing, and a Christie audio system and craft beer are just some of the features coming to a movie theater near you. The Apollo Cinema wants to be a piece of the puzzle in a booming downtown core.
Tucked away in the heart of downtown Kitchener lies the Apollo Cinema. The single-screen cinema is currently undergoing the finishing touches as they prepare to open on Sunday. Daniel Demois, one of the co-owners, explains how they want to differ from other cinemas.
There's something different about a neighborhood cinema. It's more independent, it's warmer. You're not churning through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every hour or 2 hours.
The cinema will be airing Jurassic Park, The Big Lebowski, and Lego Movie 3D to the general public free of charge during the first weekend in February. However, the film for Friday's opener is still up in the air.
There ain't no lie, the Kitchener-Waterloo Glee Club is going to shake it off, shake it off. Last Monday night, the KW Glee Club took the stage at Centre in the Square with their first performance of the year. Here's Amanda Din with more.
1, 2, 3, sing. Top Youth Pop Choir, KW Glee, and the KW Symphony collaborate together to perform at Centre in the Square.
Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Ooh, oh, and it's hard to dance with the devil on your back.
KW Glee formed after the TV series Glee 5 years ago to dance and sing original and cover songs around the region. The pairing of the 108-people vocal group and the 52-piece symphony is the first of its kind in North America. Nolan Henschel, who has been with KW Glee for years and is graduating high school this year, explains what impact the performance will have in the arts community.
And I think the fact that we're doing it on such a grand scale now with the KW Symphony, which sounds amazing, I bet that a ton of kids in the audience will want to do the exact same thing if they have the love of music that we all do.
Trevor Wagler, conductor of the concert, revealed the difficulties that took place trying to score pop music for an orchestra.
I don't know. It's a ridiculous amount of work to put something together like this because none of the music exists, so it's many, many hours just prepping music that mostly can't be used again.
The opening night last week ended with a success, leaving ticket buyers with a memorable experience. For SpokeTV, I'm Amanda Din.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for watching SpokeTV. I'm Chris Alexander.
And I'm Joe Dyke. For more news and information, check out SpokeTV.ca and follow us on Twitter.